broken Kanu's way, and Dahui's right out of the centre. It's Kanu, what's he going to do? Oh! Can you believe it?
Hello Arsenal fans, and welcome back to a new episode of Can You Believe It, an Arsenal podcast. And Arsenal are through to the next round of the Europa League. The quarterfinals of the Europa League are upcoming for Arsenal. Even if we did lose to Olympiakos last night, on the night, a performance that was a bit mixed in terms of we were very sloppy on the ball. We just weren't up to it. I think we were quite fatigued in general. But in terms of the chances we created, we should have won this game quite easily, and we missed some big chances. So we'll get into that in a bit. But I want to start at laughing at our North London neighbours and them going out 3-0 to Dynamo Zagreb, which is hilarious. Now, I think you wanted Spurs to try and go out, and you wanted Spurs to go out because you know that a North London derby in Europe would not be good. I never want it to happen, ever. But you expected them to go through with a 2-0 lead in the first leg, and then for them to utterly Spurs it up. You couldn't make it any more Spursy than they actually did, and it was amazing. And what was the creme de la creme, the cherry on top, was that Kane miss. Well, it wasn't really a miss. It was a really good save by the keeper. But the Kane miss in extra time, which was absolutely hilarious. I loved every minute of it. And they are out and they can't win that competition now. They obviously have the League Cup final, but you'd think Man City will win that. So hopefully they do and do us a favour. But it was just hilarious what happened, and I can't believe it did happen. It's still hilarious 24 hours later. What's even funnier about it is that Joe Hart's media team apparently tweeted after the game, actually it was a story on Instagram, that it was job done with thumbs up after they lost 3-0 and got knocked out, and Joe Hart had to issue an apology in the morning. It's just so funny on so many levels. It makes it even funnier that it's Mourinho as well. And obviously after beating them this week in the North London derby, once again North London is red, it just sums up a brilliant week for Arsenal and a terrible week for Spurs. And it's just hilarious what happened to them. So they've got to survive with Mourinho now, because if they want to get rid of him, they're going to have to pay him a load of money. So, you know, they're in trouble, and it's beautiful to hear. But let's get on to the Arsenal game. Enough laughing at them not down the road, and let's talk about the team lineup first. So Bernd Leno started in goal. Bellerin returned at right back. Luiz and Gabriel and Tierney all continued their spots in the team. Mohamed Elneny came in for Thomas Partey, with Granit Xhaka partnering him. Pepe came in for Saka, who wasn't in the squad at all. Dani Ceballos was at number 10, with Emile Smith-Rowe on the left, and captain on the night, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, firstly, it was obviously great to see Aubameyang back after the little issue that we had on the weekend. Obviously, he was late, he got disciplined, we've moved on from it. That's exactly what you want. And I think we'll talk about more about what happened with that later. But in terms of it not affecting the side and it just being water under the bridge, is fantastic. So I'm happy with that. In terms of the other selection decisions, I mean, Dani Ceballos at 10 was a weird one for me, because I never think he's a great number 10. I think he takes too many touches on the ball, and I don't think he gets or stays forward enough as a number 10 should do. I think Smith-Rowe should have possibly started at 10 and Willian maybe on the left. But I understood why. Odegaard needed a rest, and he got a decent amount of rest, even if he did come on at 60 minutes. But Ceballos at 10 was a weird one. But obviously, you're allowed this rotation because we are 3 goals up. So Olympiakos have to come out at us, and we can rotate some of the big players. I was happy to see Saka get a rest, even though he was left out of the squad entirely. I don't know if there's an injury or what. I hope he's okay, and I hope he's back for the weekend. But it seems smart for him to get a rest, and for him to be completely out of the squad was good management, really. And obviously Partey getting a rest, he's obviously just come back from injury. We're going to need him for the rest of the season, so it was smart again for him to get a rest. In terms of the first half, I think it was very dull. I think it was quite sloppy, especially Ceballos and El Neni in midfield. I don't think they held onto the ball very well. We did create a big chance in the first half, and it was Dani Ceballos setting up Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who blazed over for some reason. It was a really odd chance. And then we also had another chance with Pepe, who manages to tackle the keeper when he's gone through on goal, and Aubameyang's in acres of space for a tap-in. I am convinced that Pepe shoots. Not a lot of other people are, but I think Pepe shoots. He should have passed it to Aubameyang, and he would have been in there for a tap-in, and at least it would have gave us some momentum, really, for the game. But we missed two big chances. In terms of Ceballos, again, he's not a number 10, and I think he struggled in this game. He was quite sloppy. He looked quite slow and sluggish. I think it is difficult for him sometimes to get control of the game, and I think he's been punished a lot recently in terms of giving the ball away. I like Ceballos more than most people, but I think he has been in really poor form recently, which is a shame. So he probably deserves a spot on the sidelines for the meantime. I just don't think he was that good, really. But Olympiakos had a really big chance as well when the goalkeeper, Jose Sarr, just hoofs a ball up forward and none of our defenders are near it. And Leno has to make a really good save. Now, initially, I thought Leno should have came out and got it because I think he's a sweeper keeper and I think he has the ability to do this, but he made up for it with the save that he produced. So it was a really good save, but it was a really big warning shot just before half-time. And we go into half-time at 0-0 and you're thinking, well, Olympiakos are not going to score 3 goals. I was quite confident because I had seen our performance. I had seen we were better than them, really. I know they controlled possession in the first half. They had 60% to our 40%. But I never worried. I knew if they had to come out on us, we would have big chances as well. So the second half starts, and to credit Olympiakos, they come out and they score a goal very early in the second half, which they needed. And it was Youssef El Arabi again, and obviously he was the man that gave us a real heartbreak last year. And it comes from Dani Ceballos doing too much in midfield, being sloppy again, and Olympiakos go up the other end and it gets deflected off Luiz and it goes in. It's not the best goal to concede. I think Arteta was fuming. We know we're better than that, and we've been better than that in the last couple of months, but we just didn't produce it here. So we're 1-0 down, and obviously a lot of people were worried. I still wasn't too worried. I think if we were 2-0 down, I would be much more worried. But for the most part, I was quite calm, as an Arsenal fan could be, especially since I knew Olympiakos had to come out at us. Olympiakos had to come out at us, and that would open more space up. What also helped was Arteta making changes very quickly. Now, he made 2 changes at the 60th minute mark, with Thomas Partey coming on for Mohamed Elneny and Martin Odegaard coming on for Dani Ceballos. These were both very good changes, I thought, and both helped in their certain ways. I think Partey was much poorer. I think he's trying to do too much. He's trying to impress too much, which I understand because obviously he's missed a lot of the season and you want him to do well because you know how good of a player he is. But I think he just needs to simplify his game. He reminds me of someone who's trying to impress the coach a bit too much, and sometimes that can lead you to trying too much. He just needs to play it simple. He's a fantastic player, we all know that, and I'm sure he'll come back to form soon. He's only just come back from injury as well. He's had a stop-start time to his Arsenal career, so hopefully next season or the rest of this season will be great for him. But Odegaard came on and he was the real live wire in this game. He was fantastic. His control is so great. His touch is fantastic. He had some really nice moves. connecting with people really well. I think he connected with Nicolas Pepe really well, and it really surprised me actually, because I think Pepe didn't link this well with Smith Rowe, but he linked really well with Odegaard yesterday, so it's encouraging to see actually. And Odegaard had a chance to score as well, but he spooned it over, and it was a very similar chance to the one he got against Spurs on the weekend, which he took. So obviously, he's more of a goal threat than I thought he would be. I thought he would be much more of a passer, but he's much more of a goal threat than I thought he would be. So that's really encouraging to see, actually. But he was involved in a lot of moves for Arsenal, which could have ended in goals. And he actually set up a really good chance for Aubameyang, who was running through on goal. And he tried to chip the keeper, but he just got it woefully wrong. And he was also involved in the move to set up Tierney, who put in a cross for Pepe, who fired it. And it looked like it was going in, but it came off Smith Rowe. So that's, again, some bad luck. And then finally, we had another chance as well near the end of the game where Aubameyang tried to flick it in, and it was a really good save by the keeper, and then he fluffs his rebound shot by trying to go for a bicycle kick. We had chances to win this game. We should have won this game, really. I know it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I mean, we are through. That's the ultimate thing. But we did have chances to win this game. In terms of Aubameyang, I think his body language looked a bit off on the night. I'm not someone to really go down on body language. Loads of people used to go on about it with Ozil, for example, and I didn't really care as much because it's the ability on the ball, it's the performance on the day that he can do. Body language like that doesn't matter to me. But he looked like he was still a bit down, and maybe his confidence was a bit low after what happened on the weekend. Plus, I think a bit of a factor in his head was this was the team that he missed that golden chance to send us through last season, and he obviously completely missed that chance. He wanted to score here so badly, and very similar to like Partey, I think he just overthought some things. Again, with Aubameyang, he gets loads of chances. He's not an exceptional finisher. I wouldn't say he's like a Thierry Henry, who is an exceptional finisher. He needs a lot of chances to score, and that's fine as long as we keep creating him those chances. I'd much prefer him to be missing the chances now than us getting him no chances earlier in the season. So he should have got 2 goals here at least, and it's a shame he didn't, but it's fine. Olympiakos actually got a red card as well, so Bar, who I actually think is a really good centre-back for Olympiakos. Him and Socrates look very solid at the back. But Bar fouled Martinelli, who came on. And Martinelli actually looked really good. He created one of the chances for Aubameyang. And Martinelli came on and got fouled by Bar. And it was a yellow card. And then Bar smashes the ball on the floor. He punches the ball on the floor. And then gets a second yellow. I think it's incredibly harsh. I felt sorry for the guy in a way. It was funny. The BT Sport commentators, Steve Bauer and Steve Sidwell, thought that that Bar threw the ball at Martinelli's head. So it kind of makes me think that they weren't in the ground and they were just recording from a studio, which is quite funny when you think about it. But the game ended, and it ended 1-0 to Olympiakos, but Arsenal still go through on aggregate 3-2. Ultimately, the job was done in the first leg with 3 exceptional goals. But it's funny because we created the better chances in this game than we did in the first leg, and we got no goals. So ultimately, we are through. I mean, the XG backs it up, really. Arsenal were 2.58 on the night to Olympiakos' 0.71. We were very unlucky not to win this game and not to get at least 2 or 3 goals. Now, obviously, that put us through, and obviously, just afterwards, Spurs got knocked out, which was hilarious. And obviously, I've talked about that at the start of the show, just seeing them get knocked out. I was a bit worried turning on the game because I thought I'd jinx it, but no, I turned on just for the 3rd goal, and Orsic and the keeper, they are absolute heroes in all Arsenal fans' eyes at the moment. So it's really great for them to go through, and obviously really great for us that Spurs went out. But Manchester United went through as well, so that was a bit annoying as Milan had the away goal. They didn't really turn up on the night, Milan. So the draw was made for the Europa League, and Arsenal drew Slavia Prague, who went through last night against Rangers. There was a bit of controversy in the game when one of the Slavia Prague players was racist to Glenn Kamara, former Arsenal player, if you don't know. And so there's a bit of, hopefully, justice that we can do for Rangers there in terms of knocking Slavia out. But I was very happy with that tie and that draw. Obviously, Slavia have knocked out Rangers and have knocked out Leicester, so they are no slouches, but I think there was only one other team that I would want in the draw, and that's the team who Manchester United got, and that's Granada. So we avoided Manchester United, and we are avoiding them all the way to the final, it seems. So the winner of Arsenal and Slavia Prague will play the winner of Dynamo Zagreb and Villarreal. So there's the potential of meeting Unai Emery in the semi-final, which Twitter is going to be absolutely unbearable if Unai Emery beats Mikel Arteta. And then Manchester United, Granada, the winner of that, will face Ajax and Roma, the winner of that. So there's a potential for an Arsenal-Manchester United final. Whoever goes to the final is the home team in our side of the draw. So there is potential for us. I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm not looking forward to it is because if we do get Manchester United in the final, if we do get all the way, and Manchester United do as well, my nephew's a massive Manchester United fan, and if they beat us, he will never let me live it down. So there's a shout out for you. And I really, really, really don't want Manchester United in the final. So hopefully Ajax or Roma can do us a favour, or even Granada. But in terms of Arsenal, we have a big chance here. I've spoken many times on this podcast. Me, personally, I'm desperate for Arsenal to win a European trophy. The last time it happened was in 1994, the Cup Winners' Cup. Obviously, we got to the Cup Winners' Cup final in 95. The UEFA Cup final in 2000 and the Champions League final in 2006, as well as the Europa League final in 2019, and we lost all four. So we're on a very bad losing streak here. If we win the Europa League, it will be the biggest European trophy we've won. The Cup Winners' Cup doesn't compare to it. So it is a big chance for Arsenal, and hopefully we can do it. Obviously, we've performed poorly this season. We've been better since December, so we have a chance. I'm more confident now than I would have been a few months ago. And I just hope we can go far here. Because what are 2 seasons for Mikel Arteta if he finishes with an FA Cup win, which looked very unlikely compared to the teams that we drew, and the Europa League, getting us back into the Champions League within 2 seasons. It would have been absolutely incredible. I would have loved it. I just hope that we are up for it, and I hope we really go for it this year. We were disappointed last year. We're getting knocked out by Olympiakos. We're in the quarterfinals now. The draw is much easier than what we had when we got to the final in 2019, when we got to the semi-finals in 2018. The only team I truly fear is Manchester United, really. I think we can beat every other team in that draw. I would be worried about Ajax and Roma, but now they're not in our side of the draw, I'm not as worried about them. Manchester United are the biggest worry, and they are the favourites, rightly, because of the quality they have and the draw that they have as well. But who knows, maybe one of the teams can do us a favour on the way to the final. Hopefully we get there, and hopefully we just keep performing the way we can, and just hopefully we keep producing professional performances between now and the end of the season. In terms of what's going to happen with the rest of the season, our next 2 fixtures before the quarter-final against Slavia Prague are West Ham away this weekend. Then I think there's an international break, and then we face Liverpool. So we have a few weeks off, for some players anyway. But depending on how those 2 results go, we might not have any chance of getting top 6 or anywhere close to it. So it might just have to go to all the Europa League. Manchester United, in theory, would have wrapped up top 4, you would think, and they're going to finish in top 4, ideally, you'd think. But obviously Chelsea did the year we got to the final. So again, we just have to concentrate on just doing as well in every game possible between now and the end of the season. We can't just go absent-minded now just because there's a trophy available potentially. I hope we can do it, and I hope we can start picking up results, more of them going forward. Right, so let's take some listener questions. Again, I always ask them after the Arsenal game at AFC Met on Twitter if you want to ask me any questions. And the first question is from @GunaGathering, and they asks, when do we start becoming worried about Aubameyang's misses? They didn't cost us tonight, but if we want to progress, he needs to start firing. Obviously, these misses are a worry. You don't want any striker to miss chances. But ultimately, if we keep getting him chances, he's going to score more of them than not. Again, I think Lacazette is the better finisher, but he doesn't get as nearly as much quality chances as Aubameyang does. Aubameyang does miss some sitters and some big chances, which again is fine, but you will score them as much as he misses them. He will be more likely to score them. So I'm not too worried. I mean, he has 84 goals for Arsenal in 139 games. I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. Even if he misses chances, he will score them again. He has that Theo Walcott aspect about him, who, again, was another poor finisher as well, where he would miss a chance and he wouldn't let it drop his head. He will finish it. Obviously, if we get to the Europa League final and he misses a big chance, then ultimately that's going to be a bitter pill to swallow, but ultimately he will get more chances and he will be more likely to score them. I will put more money on him scoring a chance than other people, so I don't think it's a worry yet. He does need to start firing, but I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes with 20 plus goals again for Arsenal this season. But thanks for your question. And I've got one more question from regular contributor @TheFlyingGooner. And he asks, not about the match, but how do you feel about a potential United final? Already have PTSD from Chelsea. Yeah, I couldn't put it better myself. I'm terrified about that prospect. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I really don't want Manchester United in the final. I think some people were arguing, would it have been better to have them earlier in the rounds so we could get them over and done with, and if we get knocked out, then we don't have to have them in the final with some heartbreak. But ultimately, my argument is I hope someone else knocks them out and we get to the final our way. But if it is a United and Arsenal final, then so be it. I just hope we're up for it, and I hope we really go for it. Remember, we have memories of winning a trophy only last year, so we have that habit, and hopefully that can translate to Europe as well. Manchester United are a much better side than us, and they were actually one of the only teams, I would say, that were very likely to beat us between now and the run in December. They were very good against us at the Emirates, but then again, Arsenal could have won as well. So ultimately, let's just see what happens, and hopefully we get to the final. We need to get there first, obviously. We need to take every game as a big game. Hopefully we get there, and hopefully we can do well. Again, I'm starting to dream now. I'm really starting to dream about a European trophy, and I really hope it happens. So hopefully it does. But thanks for all your questions. Only 2 on this podcast. And again, sorry about the shortness of this podcast. These Europa League podcasts, there's not really much to mention apart from just the draw, and the game in general wasn't really that interesting anyway. Even if we did lose and we were quite sloppy, the game wasn't really that interesting. Ultimately, we're still through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. We have a big game this weekend just before the international break against West Ham away. Hopefully we can get 3 points, and hopefully we can start climbing the table, because we obviously beat Spurs last weekend. As much as I bragged about it, we need to do well against West Ham this weekend. Hopefully we can do. But until then, come on, you Gunners.
Well, it's broken Kanu's way, and De Hui's right out of the centre. It's Kanu, what's he going to do? Oh! Can you believe it?